Okay, we're now ready to begin, and to save time, I will hand it right over to Silvia for the second part of session 2. And hopefully after the terrific performance this morning of team number 1, we will have another extraordinary performance. We'll be right on time, and we'll have a stimulating question period after. And Sylvain, over to you.
Merci.
Thank you very much, Denis. Welcome back to the second half of this morning's session on innovation and how important innovation is in border management. We are going to start right away with Jean-Sébastien from ACI, Airports Council International. He's our neighbor. He's right across the street here in Montreal. And he's going to tell us about the airport's perspective on innovation and border management.
Good morning, everyone. Merci, Sylvain, pour la présentation.
Thank you, Silva, for the introduction.
Opportunity to speak to you today on a joint approach to border control management and aviation security at airports from our perspective at Airports Council International. So the future of airport looks bright. Over the next 20 years, passenger numbers are forecast to double. We predict around 17 billion passengers traveling per year in 2034, which is about nearly 100% more than those who are traveling today. So this level of expected growth brings into the sharp focus a need for systems and processes to be up for the task of tomorrow's facilitation and security challenges. Many of our members are facing congestion without having a way to increase capacity rapidly. So let's make sure that industry and governments continue to work together and are able to sustain expected growth without constantly adding infrastructure and cost while striving for sustainability and security. At ACI, we believe that these challenges bring facilitation to the forefront of our discussions. Many of the elements of facilitation, such as efficient border control and customs clearance, strategies for addressing airport congestion, and accessibility to air travel for persons with disabilities, are critical for the industry future growth. So in order to achieve this, there are 3 key components that need to be addressed to drive changes. And these components are efficiency, number 1, security, and customer experience. Those 3 elements always need to be maintained. In balance, security and customer experience would not be jeopardized for efficiency, nor should inefficient processes be employed in the name of security. So for airports, the key is to ensure that all these 3 aspects straighten and grow. So probably the biggest enabler for digital and business transformation is better use of data to unlock many opportunities in both security and facilitation. So let's have a look at 3 ways airports and others can make a better use of their data as an enabler for resource allocation, number 1. Number 2, drive efficiency and accuracy. And number 3, drive risk-based security processing. So data as an enabler for resource allocation. Number 1, it's becoming increasingly common to collect data on passenger flows through all the airport touchpoints. This provides a picture of performance, but also unlocks the potential for predictive analysis. So using artificial intelligence or historical data with future schedules of flights and passenger behavior patterns, it's now feasible to predict when peaks will occur and resource them and resource appropriately before they happen. So for example, this is useful for immigration processes that can leverage those dynamic resource allocation, better plan their force and their workforce needed, and prevent avoidable delays. Second, there's also the sharing of single source of commonly understood information between stakeholders. Very important, such as the topic that we discussed here, passenger identity, or also on the security front, the risk assessment level. And this will drive future processes to be more efficient and accurate. So coordinating these data sources or using cloud applications should also allow customers to access real-time tracking of flights and baggage and their belongings. And finally, data as a driver for risk-based security processing. Passenger data has been recognized as an enabler for a more targeted approach, where inspections are based on the assessed risk level that a traveler poses and the objects that they carry on themselves or in their baggage. However, at ACI, we think that there are still many barriers to truly unlock this potential, mainly on restrictions about how and between whom this data can be shared. So it's a truly joined up approach where passenger data, bag X-ray or images, and risk assessments that are shared either between agencies, authorities, and those conducting inspections that can lead to a future where efficiencies are gained in staffing and processing, and where customer experience is improved. But now let's explore how digital identity management is more than ever an important concept for seamless and efficient travel. In the near future, passenger will own their digital identity, and that will be verified, and appropriate clearances will be provided well before the start of their journey, not at the airport itself. At each point where verification will be needed, the passenger will simply use their digital identity to proceed. But today, for the majority of international travel, the only main challenge, or one of the main challenges, is that the passports and the travel identity cards are still the only trusted form of identity inspected at multiple touch points through the journey. As we know, there are several examples of identity being digitized for the facilitation of travel. This week, we have already heard an overview of some of those trials, and we'll get updates on their progress during the symposium. But however, most examples are still truly not end-to-end solutions. They're deployed only at one part of the travel journey, such as boarding, for instance, or apply only on the departure. So initiatives such as the IATA OneID, supported by ACI, is seeking to introduce the identity management solution that will include all process steps and stakeholders from booking to arrival at destination and back, and putting the passenger in the center. We've heard this morning also trials by the World Economic Forum, or yesterday the World Travel and Tourism Council, that will also provide interesting insights into the use of distributed processing and joint agreements between countries. So this is why at ACI we believe that digital identity management encompasses pre-journey clearance to travel, that the right information at the right time is delivered to the traveler when and how they want it. Some of our airport members are already trialing innovative technology solutions, enabling to move processes even off airports in a location that best suits the passengers. There are many benefits, such as convenience for customers, better use of infrastructure, the ability to process more passengers, more bags, fewer crowds at airports, for instance, and overall better security. But in order to unlock the true benefits of better use of data, there needs to be cooperation, the buzzword again, between industry and government authorities, as well as agreed upon data sharing standards. So now let's look at different opportunities. We see at ACI two main themes under which opportunities exist: to increase efficiency while improving facilitation. They can be categorized as, number one, a more joined-up approach, and number two, better use of technology and rapid adoption of innovative processes. So, a more joined-up approach. Obviously, we think that airports are the starting point of many meaningful journeys and interactions between families and friends. But unfortunately, airports can also provide a platform for persons of ill intent to conduct unlawful activities, crime, smuggling, and terrorism. This is why the aviation industry is playing a role in the fight against trafficking of persons or illegal wildlife, recognizing that the important role staff can play in identifying and reporting suspicious activities. There has been progress in breaking down silos between aviation security and border security covered under Annex 9. Indeed, there is a merit in national authorities sharing information and intelligence on a range of threats so that the resources, efforts, and equipment are not duplicated. Let's see now technology and innovation. Other opportunities related to technology and innovation could be a faster adoption of automated processing for all passenger process through innovative approaches to funding, agreements on responsibilities, and facilitation of regulatory amendments. We can think also about taking an inclusive, risk-based approach to automated border controls and security to enable faster clearance of the majority of passengers through e-gates, electronic travel authorization. So more and more ABCs. Finally, leveraging emerging technologies and innovations, such as we've talked about already, and we'll see more this week: biometric entry and exit clearance, electronic and mobile customs declarations, and mobile boarding passes. Within the joint ACI and IATA Next vision, Next standing for New Experience, Travel and Technologies, we foresee travel authorization and customs controls managed digitally from time of booking right through to arrivals. We see opportunities to pre-clear passengers well in advance of their travel and from remote locations, off airports for instance, making better use of resources and enabling risk-based approach to formalities. We think the future will be a walking pace journey through the airport where digital identity removes repetitive manual checks, where risk assessment is applied and information shared between stakeholders. Within the context of Next, we challenge the ways in which the airlines and the airports operate today and meet the demands of tomorrow. In summary, as previously stated, it will simply not be suitable to keep doing things the way we're doing it today. We see a need for visionary leadership from ICAO to answer already Sylvain's question, in the areas of facilitation and innovation, creating and driving partnership with industry. The alignment and cooperation between public and private stakeholders, between national authorities, are also critical factors in order to realize the benefits for everyone. In order to affect change, industry needs a clear framework with governments in which to operate, and regulatory permissions to change the way we do things now. In the spirit of no country left behind, we need to consider solutions for all airports, big and small, with different operational realities and how we can help everyone to grow. Furthermore, there's a need to work with industry towards innovative practices through trials, pilots, investments, and regulatory support for establishment of standards and innovative processes for biometric and digital management. And finally, as we continue the journey into the next era of growth, our industry is ready to develop a forward-looking and ambitious roadmap for aviation facilitation and to involve you in innovations and initiatives such as NEXT. Thank you all for your attention. Have a nice day.
Merci beaucoup, Jean-Sébastien.
Thank you very much, Jean-Sébastien, for the presentation and the response to my question. Now we will be able to listen to Silvia Kolligs-Tuffery, who represents the European Commission. Europe has established already for several years some innovative